So when Granddad came back from the war, it was just the three of you again?
When he came back from the war, he took us to live in Wickenburg, and he and Faye reunited.
Oh, good times.
And that, and then that lasted for 5 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then he and Bill and I moved to Long Beach.
For your teenage years?
Yeah, teenage years, and then Bill married, and I went to Bill. It's interesting about Bill. Bill started working because Dad got hurt in the shipyards and couldn't work, so Bill went to work to support us.
Really? How old was he?
Well, he's probably 17, 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then I graduated. Then we moved over to East Long Beach. Bill got married early, young.
And those are the two new cousins I just discovered that I have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've lost complete touch with those people. And that's when I moved to East Long Beach Stake, and that's when I met your mother for the first time. And so then I lived with Dad, and Bill and I lived together until Bill got married, and then I went off to college. And then after that was later then when Dad met Vicky while I was at BYU. He met Vicky and got married.
That must have been an enormous transition for you going to college. Were you prepared for it?
No, I was not prepared. I can't remember learning anything. I mean, I was a C student, maybe occasionally a B or B minus, but I didn't think I was smart, and I certainly there'd been no emphasis on education in my family, except that Dad thought it was a good idea to be educated, but there was no emphasis on that. I didn't know how to study. I didn't feel prepared, but I was excited because there was a really strong group of kids in the ward.
Is that what sort of gave you momentum to sweep you in?
They were all talking about going to college, and
me too.
Me too. That's right. No, it seemed the most natural thing for me to do, and I was very excited about doing it. And it was just, that year, my senior year, the group of kids at Wilson, or in the Long Beach Fifth Ward at Wilson High, were just wonderful. It was a real strong group, like you kids had in Westwood. And I went to seminary and went to the dances. And
Bill didn't do any of those things?
Bill did some of them. In fact, Bill dated your mother a couple of times.
The idea of him picking up Mom at Granddad Stanfield's house.
The idea of your mom marrying him. No, so Bill was going to church somewhat then, and Dad started back to church. When we lived in Long Beach, I went to church myself, but Dad started going, and Bill started going at least part of the time. Bill was part of the church group, and then he got married. And Patty was a member of the church.
Really? You could trace her down through church records then.
Yeah, probably. If I could find her. Then I went to BYU, and then and loved it. I mean, I just felt this is such a great adventure, and it was a really exciting place to be, and I stayed there until I went on my mission.
How did you even function? How did you know how to go to classes or feed yourself or do your laundry?
Well, I knew I had to pay my entire way, so I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and cleaned the engineering building to earn money to pay tuition. And then I came home at Christmas and worked at the post office over Christmas vacation to make enough money to pay my tuition for the next quarter. And then I worked. I knew enough to go to class because that's what I was there for. And just got by. I mean, as I say, I knew what I was supposed to be doing, but I wasn't very good at doing it in the sense of really studying and stuff. But when I went on my mission, I grew up a lot, and I came back and had a couple of straight A quarters.
Was going on a mission the same thing? Like you were just looking at what your peers were doing?
Oh,
and
I
I
wanted
want that too.
I wanted to go on a mission from the time I knew there was such a thing, because even when I was younger, the kids, I could see the older kids going on missions, and it was the thing to do, and it was something I really wanted to do.
What'd your dad think of that?
Oh, Dad was so thrilled.
Was he?
Oh yeah, yeah, he was so absolutely thrilled with my going, and helped pay some of my expenses. So I grew up. A mission was hard in many ways because I had to do things that I didn't want to do and things that were hard to do, and live with companions who were difficult. But they also, some of them were really great friends, like Jim Marshall was.
How far into your mission did you meet Jim?
I knew him at BYU actually. We were the same year. We were freshmen together, and we were in different social units. But I knew who he was, and then I think we might even have lived in the same apartment before we went on missions. I think we did. The mission was good. It gave me lots of opportunities for leadership. I became a traveling elder for the mission president, traveling all over the mission. I was the mission editor and went into the mission home. And so I had lots of opportunities to learn and to grow and to do things. And I loved teaching the gospel. It was really exciting. It was hard, but it was exciting to see people join the church and to be part of that experience. And people like the Sharps and the Talberts, I've had friendships my whole life with, people we baptized in Kankakee. So I came back and was a serious student. I was highly motivated to, get ready to go to graduate school.
How far into your college experience did you know what you wanted to focus on?
Well, it's interesting. My ambition immediately was to be a high school counselor. And then I was going to be a teacher, so I took education courses. I was majoring in education. And then I took Bob Thomas's Introduction to Literature class and fell in love. And then Bob was a great influence on me. He kind of saw something in me that I didn't even know was there. And I was able to get a Woodrow Wilson National Fellowship to go to graduate school, which was very prestigious.
Did that defray cost?
Defrayed a lot of my costs. Yeah. It was, I think it was $2,000, which was a lot of money in those days. So I prepared to do that, and last year I was there, by that time I got back from my mission, your mother and some of the girls that I knew in Long Beach had started BYU, and I used to go over to their house for dinner and started asking your mom out, and she started saying yes, and immediately would break.
Started saying no.
Started saying no. She set the Guinness Book of World Records for breaking dates, but I was persistent.
What would you say to her after you'd see her when she'd broken a date?
You want to go out? I don't know what I said, but I was persistent, and she kept saying yes and then no. That's when I started dating. As I mentioned in an earlier episode, I was living with three of my missionary companions, Jim and Boyd Cook, and can't remember the other kid's name. We were living in Ralph Boswell's parental home, and I said to Boyd one night, that's when we had sacrament meeting, it was Sunday school in the morning, sacrament meeting in the evening. I said, let's go over to Ruthie Rees's ward tonight. And I went over, and we went there, and she stood up to direct the singing, and I turned to her and said, that's who I'm going to marry. And so I did. She didn't know it at the time. But then when I went to graduate school and came back at Christmas that first year and proposed to her.
How many dates had you been on before you proposed to her?
I think I probably... Actually, I think I'd gone on maybe half a dozen dates or more. I don't remember. I remember going to the big ball with her, because there's a photograph showing the two of us
Right.
at that ball, the preference ball it was. That's when women got to ask men, I think it was. So she probably asked me, and I probably said no, or yes, no, but no. I was very much in love with her, and so then I went off to graduate school, and then I got engaged, and she went to Long Beach and called me and said, you know, I think she said, I forget what you look like, or something like that, some funny thing. Then
She said, I can see her hairy arms, and then after that, I can't
can't see
imagine
the
what
rest
you
of
look like.
and so then she came back to Madison after her semester, and then we drove crazily on spring vacation to LA and got married on April Fool's Day.
Didn't you get married at the Salt Lake Temple?
No, got married in the Los Angeles Temple.
Who was there?
Grandma and Grandpa Stanfield, and I think Majel, maybe some of Drew's family.
Mm-hmm.